Every property has a story, a history, right? But sometimes the land itself holds a secret that's way darker than anything you'd find in a blueprint. Today, we're going to dive into one of those places, a prestigious boarding school that became the setting for a truly terrifying mystery. So get this, that's a direct quote from a school guard whispered to a pair of absolutely frantic parents. Right away, this frames the whole story. We're not just talking about a missing person here, we're stepping onto a property that already has a reputation, a place where people believe spirits wander. So the whole stage is set at this boarding school, which just so happens to be built on land with a pretty dark past. Local legend says it's inhabited by restless souls. I mean, it's the perfect setup for a ghost story. Or maybe, just maybe, the perfect cover for a very human crime. This whole mystery doesn't kick off with a ghostly scream or a door slamming shut. Nope, it starts with something we all know, the shrill ring of a telephone late at night. And for one family, this single call is about to shatter their entire world and drag them into the school's dark heart. Can you even imagine that shock? A call from your kid's principal telling you he's just gone. For Mrs. Yadav and her husband, there was only one thing to do: race to the school, completely desperate for any answers about their 12-year-old boy, Yugal. Okay, so here's where things start to feel really off. The principal's official story is that Jugal ran away on a Friday night. But check this out. He waits until Monday evening, a full 2 days later, to even tell the parents. Why? Why wait that long? It's the first huge red flag, and it definitely doesn't add up. So as Jugal's parents are desperately searching for answers, two totally different stories start to take shape. One of them points straight to supernatural forces, to the haunting of the property itself. And the other points to something much more human, and honestly, maybe even sadder. So on one hand, you've got the guard's chilling theory, and then Mrs. Yadav herself sees this terrifying red-eyed shadow in her son's room. It really feels like the haunted property is making itself known. But then, a classmate reveals this heartbreaking truth. Jugal was isolated, he had no friends, he was profoundly lonely, a kind of ghost you can't see. So what's really going on? Is a spirit haunting the school, or is the real horror hidden in a young boy's solitude? The whole investigation is about to hit a major turning point. We're back in Jugal's empty dorm room, and as his mother is just sitting there with her grief, something happens that completely shifts the focus away from the world of shadows and into the world of cold, hard facts. Just picture it, the total silence of the room, the heavy weight of a mother's worry, and then a slow, deliberate creak as a cupboard door just swings open, like it was pushed by an unseen hand. It's a total classic haunted house moment. But what she finds inside isn't a ghost. It's a piece of paper, a letter, written by Jugal. And this letter, it's not about spirits. It's about real-life monsters. This is just one line from Jugal's letter. It's just devastating. It's a confession of the humiliation and the absolute torment he was suffering through. And suddenly, the whole mystery of his disappearance takes on this horrifying new clarity. This was never a ghost story. It was a story of relentless bullying. The letter lays out the entire picture. It was a formal complaint addressed directly to the principal. It detailed constant abuse and even named the ringleader, a kid named Pranab. And here's the twist that explains everything. Pranab is the principal's own son. All of a sudden, that 2-day delay in calling, the whole story about him running away, it starts to look a whole lot like a cover-up. So now, the two threads of this story, the haunting of the school and the haunting of a guilty conscience, are about to collide in the most dramatic way you can imagine. While Jugal's parents are reeling from reading that letter, Pranab, the bully, has his own encounter. He's in the washroom, looks in the mirror, and sees Jugal's reflection. But then it gets so much worse. The vision of Jugal turns towards him, his face turning blue, his body covered in wounds, a truly terrifying, ghostly apparition. And this ghost, this vision born from his own crushing guilt, is what finally breaks him. It wasn't a spirit from the cursed land that forced the truth out. It was the ghost of his own actions. He completely collapses and confesses everything. And the confession just lays out the whole tragic truth. It was a night of drinking and bullying that just went way too far. Jugal ran, they chased him, and in all the chaos, he was accidentally killed. And the principal, to protect his son, hid the body and invented the whole story about a runaway, using the school's haunted reputation as the perfect smokescreen. So this brings us right to the heart of the story. The land was rumored to be haunted, a shadow was seen in a room, and a ghostly vision appeared in a mirror. But where did the real horror lie in all of this? In this story of haunted realty, the most haunted place wasn't the school building or the cursed ground. It was the conscience of a bully and the silence of those in power. The real ghosts are the memories of our actions or our inactions, and they refuse to leave us alone. And that's really the question this story leaves us with. It challenges us to look beyond the superstitions and see the real spirits that haunt us every single day: cruelty, guilt, and the silence that allows them to thrive. So, I'll leave you with this. If you see something like this happening and you stay silent, who's the real ghost then?